And we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 33. And it's another glorious Sunday, and we are back at the round table on the Lord's Day. I'm extremely excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord whose work catalog I've been a tremendous fan of for some time now. This Lord initially took the internet by storm and galvanized both the martial arts and gaming communities with his amazing Taekwondo move list from my personal favorite Tekken character of all time, the kicking and flamingo feint machine Waram. Although this Lord is one of the best martial artists in the business, he's extremely personable, has a hilarious sense of humor, and his passion for gaming is evident in everything he does, including his incredible men's health training workouts. Introducing the actor slash stuntman and creator of the Tekken in Real Life series, the Lord responsible for the best portrayal of Stryker in the Mortal Kombat Legacy series, and the creator of the legendary action film, The Kicktionary. The real life Moku Jin himself, my man, Lord Eric Jacobus. How are we doing, sir?
I'm good.
Good to have you, man. I'm a huge fan of your work. I mean, I've followed you for some time, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the Iron Lords podcast. And we're ready to get this thing going, man.
I'm great. I can't wait.
Nice. Absolutely. And of course, we have the usual suspects at the round table. My co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, and the howl of the young wolf, my man, Lord Addict. How are we doing, sir?
Pretty good. Just recovering from mentally from that Cuphead stream. Man, I told you, I literally spent like probably 2.5 to 3 hours on one boss, and I had his entire pattern down, had the whole pattern down, and I was just like, I'm done. So I quit, come back this morning, and I beat not one, not two, but 3 bosses in an hour and a half.
Wow, I'm hearing, man. Cuphead is really.
I even beat the infamous dragon boss on Island 2 that everyone's been saying stuff about.
Yeah, man, that game's real difficult. Really good game, no doubt, no doubt. And of course, our most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single-player selfish experience, semi-offline Xbox profile Illuminati, my man, Lord Sovereign. How are we doing, sir?
Doing good, man. A little under the weather, a little nasal today, so I apologize for that in advance. Well, I have my sexy voice going today, but
we appreciate it.
Same thing with Cuphead, man. You need some serious intestinal fortitude for that. Like you in order not to break your controllers and your TV and everything in your house.
Oh man, it's real. It's real.
It's real. It's real.
No doubt. And of course, the excess gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord of Combat Sports, who is a man of his convictions and demands nothing less than the premium experience.
Ooh.
Beloved Lord King, how are we doing, sir?
We're doing fantastic today. I don't have much on combat sports to go on. Well, you know, being that you should keep your comments to yourself because our guest today is about that life. You understand? Yes, sir. But combat sports this week is a little down. We had some fights last night. We had a little bit of UFC last night. No big cards. We have big cards coming on the 14th and the 13th coming up, but we did get a couple of insights on Luis Ortiz failing his drug test. So Deontay Wilder. The Deontay Wilder fight might be off, but Deontay Wilder is still pushing for the fight. They just might get some compensation in the way of that. I don't know, but I really was looking forward to that fight. But guys, yeah, Cuphead is real. Cuphead is very real. We're gonna get into that a little bit later.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it, no doubt. And of course, we have Channel 5's own, the Jin Kazama Demoralizer, and the Lord who would check all fanboy nonsense on his Twitter feed. The aggressively neutral gamer, my man, Lord Kaibatsu. How are we doing, sir?
I am doing great. Had a very productive weekend in gaming. I just beat Cuphead this morning because I am about that.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
Wow, we got to get this man like something for his birthday. That game's so difficult.
Bend the knee to that one.
Bend the knee. Well, you beat it. When did you start?
Yes,
that the older games were harder. If you play Contra Hardcore is harder. But what they did with the game is just astounding. I'm talking about from the visuals.
Contra Hardcore is a bloody mess. You're talking about a beautiful game that was meticulously put together, and the way that the difficulty is set at a nice difficulty. It is not too hard. If you can't play old style Twitch gaming, don't get on it.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Like, stay away.
Yeah,
I hear you, man. It's a classic, and it's good to see everybody picking it up and supporting the game. So, and of course, it is Lord Cognito here, spreading that gaming realness on the ILP, not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So before we get into what the Lords are playing this week, I want to start with Lord Eric's video game system history, including his love for fighting games and the birth of Tekken's Jacobus. Also, the Lords would like to know about his martial arts background, fighting inspirations, and of course, the incredible stunt work and film career. So let's start first with the video game system history, Lord Eric. Like, what was the first systems and games that got you into this thing?
Sorry, my call just dropped and I just caught the end of that question.
No worries. We'll start from the beginning. We'll start with your video game system history. Like, what was the first gaming systems you ever had?
Man, we're gonna have a long talk if we go down this road. I'm gonna miss church and nothing's gonna happen today. System. I was born in '82, so missed the Atari just by a little bit. And when I was, I think I may have turned 4, and my dad got me a Nintendo. And,
wow!
I don't think my dad played a little bit of arcade back in the day, so he kind of understood video games. And when he got it for me, I was playing it all day. I was really excited. I had the game that came with it, which was Mario and Duck Hunt. And I'm playing. He's kind of sitting back, like, yeah, kids these days, they just want to play video games. And then I get up at 3:00 in the morning, of course, and I sneak out to the family room where the Nintendo. I see him punched over with the light gun. He's playing
with the light gun. Sorry.
Yeah, playing Duck Hunt. He's like sitting on the couch. And
nice.
And then I just I would spend my allowance and buy games all the time for Nintendo. And then from there I acquired every mainstream game system and a lot of strange ones in between from then on.
Wow.
Yes.
So from the progression from the NES to what was kind of like the next couple of systems you remember?
I got the Genesis after that, and
nice.
For some reason I was a Genesis kid, and now everyone has
My man, Lord Eric, man. We're a couple of Sega kids here. We're a lot of Sega kids here, so we appreciate you saying Genesis.
That's cool. Now I think the Sega system was much more the arcade system, and the Super Nintendo was the RPG system.
Yeah. Yep.
I think all the brainy kids had the Super NES, but those of us that are fast twitch and wanted to just get down and dirty really quick, we did the
Genesis. What were some of those early games for Genesis? What were the standouts for you? What were the ones? Give me like 2.
Mortal Kombat 1.
The one with the blood, baby. That's right.
That's right. To get blood on the one.
Nice. That's what's up.
That was a huge one. And Splatterhouse 2 was my other one.
Oh yes. There we go.
I actually got a little bit of history with me right here. I'm just gonna pull it out.
Oh, pull it out. Here we go. That exclusive on Iron Lord from Lord Eric.
I don't have many of these anymore, but I did keep this one.
Wow. The original
box art.
This one I'll stick. I'm gonna hang on to this one. I think
that's a classic, man. You gotta hang out with that.
And I got you. Just 4. Out of this world, Flashback, Kid Chameleon.
Y'all remember Flashback?
Yeah,
that was amazing for its time.
Yeah,
Flashback was unbelievable. Out of This World, I think Out of This World came out first. And that was made by one guy. One guy made Out of This World, Eric Tati.
Yeah,
I remember that one. This game right here,
let me tell you right now, you're plugging heartstrings because Out of This World, that game.
They just released it again for PC too. can get
Yes.
on Steam,
And I believe Xbox Live, and they also put it back out. And that game to me was so amazing for its time. You know what I'm saying? Even when you start and you beat the alien, he's like, Max Aruma.
Yeah.
Nice, man. That's cool. That's cool. So the video game system history is pretty epic. That is very cool. So what about as far as now, I know you said Mortal Kombat. So what about like transition that into what people most know you for? Obviously is your Tekken move list. So tell me about from the fighting game aspects, how your love of the fighting games, like how did that progress? Which fighting games?
Yeah, so a bunch of us, we were a bunch of Sega kids. So we bought 32X. I had a Sega CD too. That was kind of
you're my kind of guy. Let's go.
That's my favorite system of all time, by the way.
Premium, baby.
Really?
So, hold on, sorry, I got to do this again.
Premium.
I love it.
But I got one thing to ask in regards to that, though.
The one reason that game system is number one for me is because game called That's why. This is the one I bought for $10.
Nice.
Yes.
I had to ask one thing. I didn't even know he had the Sega CD. I got to ask him. Does he have Eternal Champions for the Sega CD? One of the best fighting games out there. I've loved that one.
I sold it.
Come on, Eternal Champions.
Now I know you still got Selfie. I
got Selfie somewhere else. It's not here.
Nice.
I had so many games. I must have had like 3,000 games at one point. Seriously, it was a problem.
You are a veteran, sir. You are definitely your stripes are being earned right now. A lot of respect, a lot of salute. We're bending the knee here at the round table for you for that.
Yeah, so that was an obsessive collecting habit that I had. But so anyway, back to fighting games. A lot of us were Saturn kids and Sega kids. We were Virtua Fighter kids, and the local arcade carried Virtua Fighter. And I love Virtua Fighter, but I'm sorry, when Tekken came out, Virtua Fighter took such a back seat to that game, man, because Tekken really took the crown, because you had 16 characters that were pretty unique. And,
Absolutely. I mean, the thing about too was just how the realism, right, and how it portrayed martial arts. I felt more than any other game.
Exactly. And Virtua Fighter kind of caught up later on, but took a while.
I thought what really separated it was the fact that you had, left punch, right punch, left kick, kick.
That's exactly it. That's what made it accessible to everybody, and it was easy to get your head around the fact that the button
instead of just punch, kick, block. Like punch, kick, block is so ambiguous, but left punch, right punch, the way you string punches together. Listen, I'm a combat fan, love them. All right, Lord Cognito is going to tell you, we have this thing called Channel 5. The reason why we're called Channel 5 is because every Saturday, we'll get the old John Woo films, Master Ma films, and we will sit down. Yes. And we would do, I don't know, from 3 o'clock to 12 o'clock midnight. We go get 3 karate films and we watch it. We all chip in, we pick it up, we sit there, we watch it until we found out something that went down in there. But
you're also gonna help us with this one.
We're gonna leave that alone until we get to your segment with it. But we are astute fans of old fighting history. So we are so happy to have you here today. Trust me, when I saw that you were coming on, I was happy. I was scared this week when he said I didn't hear from him. I didn't know the Twitter thing. So yes, I'm very happy.
Sorry.
No, it's all good, man. Basically, what Lord King was also implying was that we'll get back to his one point that he was implying in reference to when we seen the martial arts represented and how beautifully these guys kicked. I was a huge John Liu fan, right? And
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, like I go back, right? So that was my guy. And I remember movies like The Secret Rivals, him, Tan Tao Lang, all these guys, these great kickers, Wang Jiang Li. And we were just so amazed. They were gods to us, right, at that age. So when we saw, like, finally, as you get older and your eyes get a little better and you start to realize that not only these guys are great, but the only thing you realize, like, wait a minute, when they did the backflip and the triple tuck and all that stuff, that wasn't them.
It was the stand-ins. They actually lost some weight and they lost some height. And I said, look at that right there. And we were so afraid for our own guys. Like, our own guys, we were like, nah, my guy doesn't do that. He does all that stuff.
So explain to us, Lord Eric, about that, like, just real quickly about that, like the stunt culture in those like 70s karate / kung fu flicks.
Oh man, where do I start? I mean, you're talking about John Liu. John Liu is he's kind of a prodigy he was born in Japan, actually. I was just researching him. He's actually Japanese born. And you know, he was coming up in a time when kicking was really taking off. And I've been doing a lot of research about this recently and looking up what kicking in film looked like before Bruce Lee, because there was none. There actually wasn't much at all. I looked a lot and there was nothing going on. And you know, the culture at the time, he really popularized it because of his interactions with Chuck Norris and a lot of what he did in America. Chuck Norris came back from Korea because he had picked up Tang Soo Do in Korea. He kind of brought kickboxing back to America, made that really popular in the karate circuit. And when he met Bruce Lee said, "Oh, why don't I kick above the head?" And Bruce Lee picked it up within 2 years. The two of them trained together a bunch. And then next thing you know, in 1971, The Big Boss comes out, and then kicking culture suddenly just explodes. Kicking becomes extremely marketable, and like nothing really beat kicking out until MMA came around. And even still, people still are doing kicks. Kicks are still kind of the hot thing, and tricking and all that. But just, you know, to think of it, 35 years worth of that kind of legacy. John Liu really kind of carried the torch in the late 70s because he was, you know, Tan Tai Liang's student. And there were all these co-productions going on with, you know, Hong Kong, Korea, Taiwan, a little bit of Japan, and he was the right leg master.
Absolutely. Thanks for educating us, man. That was definitely an idol of mine, and definitely cool to talk about. So let's get back to you. I know we went a little off track, but I wanted to go. So personally, like as far as your martial arts background, like what are the arts that you specifically specialize in, and also like some personal fighting inspirations as well.
I started martial arts pretty late in life, when I was about 20 actually.
Oh, wow.
I really got into it because I wanted to do stunts. Because I wanted to create fight scenes. And I had done a little bit as a kid, but I was more of a weightlifter throughout my high school years and into college. And then when I moved to the Bay Area to go to film school, I said, man, I really got to get into martial arts. Because my hometown, Redding, Northern California, they didn't really have a whole lot in terms of martial arts. I kind of maxed a lot of that out. One of my martial arts schools closed down and locked the door on me when I came to school. Like some bad experiences. And so I opened up the phone book when I moved to San Francisco and went down the list. And the second one I found was a Taekwondo school. And so I started doing that. My teacher was Andy Leung, and he ended up in Contour as the co-star, and I did a bunch of movies with him.
Nice.
And 2 years later, I met Dennis Rule and Ray Carbonell, and they taught me Hapkido, and I've been doing that ever since.
Wow, that is amazing. That is pretty amazing.
And Hapkido, by the way, just a quick little lesson on that. Hapkido was really the kicking art of the 70s in Hong Kong.
Okay.
If you trace any of the Hong Kong stunt guys back, it really goes back to when Bruce Lee brought Jian Jie, and you know, Bong Soo-han was kind of the American guy, but in Hong Kong it was Jian Jie and Wang In-sik, and he was the villain in The Young Master and Dragon Lord. And Sammo Hung put all of his buddies, all of his brothers, like Jackie Chan, Yu Fu, they all went through Hapkido. A guy named Kim Jin Pao, I think his name was, and they learned Hapkido. Their kicks are very Hapkido, and they don't do Taekwondo; they do Hapkido kicks. So I feel, I love Taekwondo. I'm very proud to kind of carry in the Hapkido lineage too.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing what you do. So transitioning that into like the whole Tekken move lists and how that whole transpired, because that's what kind of made you like, you broke the internet when those things came out. Like I remember seeing, I'm like, who is this guy? So tell me, like, what was the idea behind that and getting that started?
I think the Kicktionary was where it started, and that was the 200 kicks. And I just, I saw this video where a guy put together, I think it was maybe 50 judo moves. And he did something similar where he just put the name at the bottom and it just went through 50 judo moves in 30 seconds or something like that. I was surprised that nobody had done that with kicks. The only person who had ever really done it was Lee. And there was a movie called The Art of Contact Kicking that he did.
Yep.
It was, a feature-length film where he just goes through every kick and how to do them. All the like basic 8 Taekwondo kicks and every variation of those kicks.
Gotcha.
And just surprised nobody had ever done something like that again. With all of the updates, there's so many new kicks that have come out since then that people have innovated upon Hwang Jung-lee's kicking, because he was really the master and really still.
He was. Yes, he was.
No, I had to learn. My friend, I was a fan of John Liu, but Lord King was a Wang Jung Lee. We affectionately call him Master War.
The master of them all.
He was
when they did Secret Rivals, because they shot that in Korea, and the Vietnam War had just ended, and that was 1976 when they shot Secret Rivals, I think, or 75. And Hwang Jung, he was in the Korean War, man. That guy was a badass. And when he hired that guy, they knew that they had someone pretty special. He just outkicked everybody in that movie.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of us were inspired by that guy. And the Kicktionary was a little bit of an homage to him, although it was much more like a little bit flashier, right? I wasn't going to do it with a karate gi with like a British narrator in the background. That was Roy Horan doing it, and then from that, because I found a lot of the kicks in video games too. I was taking inspiration from anywhere I can. Because I was really trying to get to 200 at a certain point, and I found a couple Street Fighter kicks and maybe a couple Tekken kicks, and so released the Kicktionary. That did really well, and then I was looking at doing a second one. And I was in China at the time, working on a film called Heart of a Champion, and I started putting together a second Kicktionary when I was at a gym. I would just work on it every day, try and pick a couple new kicks to try. And I just started looking at Tekken. I just started watching every Tekken move. And then I thought, well, what if I just did this entire move list? And has anybody ever done that? And I looked online and nobody had done it. And I thought, this is a weird idea, but since nobody's done it and it seems kind of obvious, suddenly it was obvious that I had to do it. So when I came home from China, I went to the garage and I just spent hours and days in the garage working on Hwarang and Lei Long, and my wife would come in and say, "What are you doing again?"
Making history, woman.
Yeah, I didn't know how to answer because it was kind of weird. I was like, "Oh, it's a video game, and I'm doing this with the video." There was some like, I don't want to call it a higher calling, but that's what it seemed like, I just had to do it.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then when I did it, it was like, wow, that took off real quick. I went from 20,000 subscribers to 80,000 pretty quick. That was that.
You broke the internet, sir.
But it's how I've been getting so many jobs too, because
good for you. Absolutely. That's great, man. I mean, when we saw it was amazing. Now, I know Lord Kaibatsu had a question. One query question is, first of all, how you did the move list was really cool. And then even when you had the animations for the, like high, middle, low, as far as the hit detection. But you always have to ask you, because you always throw you a little bit of humor in these move lists. So Lord Kaibatsu wants to know about the cat.
Yeah, that cat is hilarious.
Awesome. Now, the first couple ones, I don't have a cat in there. And but then I think later along I had a cat come in, and so I was just doing it when I would work out in the garage. One of our two cats would walk in the middle of the shot sometimes. Get out of here! What are you doing? And then finally, I just kind of played around with one. I did some moves on the cat, and I threw it in there. And then when you put a cat in a video, it breaks the internet.
But you always had to have the cat doing some god body stuff, which was hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. And then everyone, the commenters are great. They would always they love the cat, and they say cat needs to be nerfed. And so I started coming.
The cat needs nerfed.
The cat blows up the world every time, and it's like the cat is also always like the ultimate. The cat's too OP, they say every time.
Oh my god, that's cool.
It was really because the commenters responded so well to the cat that I started kind of coming up with in jokes with them, and that's how the cat came around.
Awesome. Yeah, your humor definitely shows in that. It's pretty amazing. Nice. Cool. So also we want to talk about like pretty much your stunt work. I know you said like you started also with that. I know you got into martial arts late, but you got into the kind of caught the bug for the stunt craze. And I also want to talk about your indie film career and all things that you got jumping off to. So let's start off with the stunt work. Like what got you into that? Like what possessed you to do that?
I was a vaudeville kid. I watched a lot of Buster Keaton when I was a kid, a lot of Charlie Chaplin. And I like how these guys really use their bodies to tell stories. And you can see Jackie Chan sort of take inspiration from that when he made martial art movies, which was really kind of crazy because everyone was trying to make him into the next Bruce Lee in the late 70s. And it just wasn't really happening. And I think that Jackie, being where he came from, he was an only child, somewhat of an only child, didn't really come from a place of angst. I think the way that Bruce Lee did. Growing up in Seattle and San Francisco, I think, Jackie Chan was a very different kind of person than Bruce Lee was.
Yes.
And I think that's why he flocked to the physical comedy. And there are just certain kinds of people that are really into that. And then there's certain kinds of people who are the Bruce Lee type and the Sammo Hung type. And the people that want to win fights with technicality versus the people that want to win fights with some kind of gag or some kind of, sometimes even just like a smart, witty element. And that was the Jackie Chan thing. And when I saw Jackie Chan, and I saw him late in life because, again, we just didn't really have much going on in my hometown. Rumble in the Bronx was the first Jackie Chan movie I saw. And I got kind of addicted to him. And I managed, even before the internet, I managed to find all of his movies. Well, not all of them, but I managed to find Drunken Master 2 at one point. And that's when I kind of knew I really, really, really want to do something like this because he's using his body not just comedically, but he's just doing interesting, cool stuff. It's really fast and it's hectic and it's confusing, and really wanted to do that. And so I just said,
nice.
I'm just going to do it because at some point, I was reviewing movies for a while too because I had a website. I would review Hong Kong movies, and I would just review the action. Wouldn't review the story or anything. I reviewed 500 movies, and after reviewing that movie, I think I understood how to fight things. And so we just went out and started shooting fight scenes. We did this every week. In 2001, we shot a movie every weekend. We had like 35 short films at the end of 2001. My team and I, we called it the Stunt People. And we were making movies all the time. And I was a tech kid, so I could edit the movie, but I also wanted to perform. I would get a camera guy. I would be camera guy, and then you'd be camera guy. We'd do everything.
Nice.
Everyone would do everything. We'd wear every hat.
Nice, man. That's pretty cool.
That's how it started. And then, I wasn't getting too serious about it for a long time because I was in the Bay Area. So I didn't really get heavily involved in like the Hollywood stunt scene until 2012 or so. And, and at the end of, I think it was at the end of 2012 that I got called to Mortal Kombat Legacy.
That's when the legendary striker role.
Yeah.
Also, one of your idols was on that, Mr. DeCascos from.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest parts, working with DeCascos and Casper Van Dien too.
Nice. To the rest of the Iron Lords, Lord Kaibatsu, Lord Sov. That's what's that movie? Only the Strong with the Panana way. Remember that?
I know Mike DeCascos.
Okay, just educate the listeners.
I actually seen him in Drive. That was my first movie.
Oh, remember Drive with Kadeem Honda?
Oh, that is a classic.
That's a classic. Wow. Classic material. Cool. So how was it like on set with him? Like, would you get a chance to interact with him much? Or?
Oh, yeah, I got to hang out with him a bunch. It was cool. We were supposed to do a fight scene together, but it got cut.
Oh, that would have been amazing. And I believe he was Kung Lao in that, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's cool. We did some long nights, and I was having some like relationship issues with an old girlfriend at the time. And I was standing there. It was late at night. I was tired. I was just kind of looking out looking out at the ocean, I think. And he comes up, he says, "Hey Eric, how's it going, man?" And I kind of like, "Oh, I'm just having girl problems." He says, "Cool, man, just keep putting that energy out there, it'll come right back." He was that kind of guy, you know, and I felt like he made people feel really good, you know.
Yeah,
He was just
nice.
he was always complimentary. He had no ego at all.
That's very cool. He always seems to give off positive energy. I always get that vibe from him. You know, I've only crossed paths once or twice, but that's cool, man. Absolutely. So, any as far as film is concerned, like any other things we got working on that you'd like to plug on the ILP?
Yeah, we're just about done editing Blindsided 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Blindsided 1 is our sort of American homage to that Samurai.
Okay, nice. I like where we're going with this. I'm liking this.
The second one is a continuation of the first one. The first one takes place in a small amount of time during the day, and then part 2 takes place in the second half of the day.
Okay, cool. Looking up. When should we be on the lookout for that one? Coming soon?
We're hoping before the end of the year because we're pretty close to being done. We just gotta do some final touches on post production, and we're gonna so we'll release it hopefully before the end of the year. But I can't promise that right now.
No doubt. And the last question I had for you, as far as that is concerned, I also want to know, like, what do we have to do to get Harada-san to get either Jacobus in his own character or to do some mocap? Like, we got to get you in Tekken. Like, you got to get your own character, man. Like, this is where we got to go.
Yeah. I've been swinging that pickaxe for a long time.
All right, you point out who I need to speak to, Lord Eric, and we're gonna make it happen.
Maybe we need to make a petition or something.
We're gonna start an ILP poll.
That's right.
I've talked to Harada-san multiple times, and he expressed interest. Of course, they're not working on Tekken 8 probably anytime soon, but because they're just going to be pushing Tekken 7 for a while and whatever other games that they're doing at Bandai Namco. But I have no idea how to crack that nut. Seriously.
Okay. All right. The Iron Lords are going to work the back channels. This has to happen. This is a travesty if this man is not in the next Tekken or some involvement with it. No doubt. Do the rest of the Lords have any other questions for Lord Eric before we get into the main other question?
I have a question, of course.
Sure.
My question is, at this point in time, because when we were growing up, we had so many martial artists to choose from. Like, we would literally be inside a room full of guys, and everybody could pick one guy. Like, that's my guy. And I don't think the kids growing up today or the guys growing up today have that that guy. We need a resurgence in that market, like to that push that the old Shaw Brother films. I mean, we saw it with the Iron Fist with this guy, and I thought it was gonna go back to that. Do you have any insight on any new push from Japanese or Korean, actually really Korean films trying to push this back into American culture?
Well, I mean, you still have a little bit of that in America. I think MMA has really. What would you say? I guess MMA sort of took away our innocence. It's like so many people now, they all know that, you know, the second you throw a backflip with a kick, they go, well, you can't really do that in the ring. But like back in the 80s, that's cool. You know, that would be so cool to do that. And we kind of suspended disbelief more easily back then with action films. It seems very difficult to do that now. It's like it's hard to blend the real with the, I don't know, not supernatural, but with the flashy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's actually a good point.
I think also back then there was just this, in the 80s, there was still a sense of wonder.
Yeah.
You still discover new things in the 80s.
Yeah.
You can't really find anything new now, if you think about it, which is a little bit depressing.
Yeah.
You can't really find, there's no such thing as like the buried North Korean cinema history, right? We've seen it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can even get North Korean films. You can get them all. And I know that, like, when all of us were growing up, we'd find the new movie from Taiwan that was 30 years old or something. And we were like, yeah, I've seen this. Nobody had seen it, and we managed to find it, you know. And then our buddies say, yeah, but did you see this? He's got some old VHS or some, you know, some shit from the 80s. And we're like, what the hell? It was crazy. You know, it was fun, and that's gone. I don't think that those times are coming back because we're completely global. And,
I don't like the fact that we remake everything. We don't remake classic Shaw Brother films.
I know. I mean, we're talking about remaking The Raid and stuff like that, but we don't. Don't want to. I mean, even I know what you mean with Man with the Iron Fist, but that was really kind of a comic book movie in a way, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, too much flying.
So, yeah, I know. So, yeah, I think it's that combination of MMA where everything kind of has to be grounded in some way.
Yeah, it got real.
Yeah, it got real, or you have to do a superhero movie. It's like finding the middle ground now. I'm not sure anybody's really willing to take the risk.
Gotcha.
It's just where I do see it a lot is in the indie martial arts scene, which is still kind of small. But a lot of us that sort of came up watching these movies, we make our own films, but it's very difficult to go mainstream with indie martial art films because the markets, they all demand MMA or
that's a good point.
You know, and that's sort of the situation we're in right now.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, that's actually a very, very good point. But I know one thing. I mean, at least with the fighting game aspect, you know, mocap and all these things. You know, these guys. I mean, when I was looking at your history, and I was actually surprised when you actually mentioned that Harada, a lot of these animations, they weren't all done by mocap. Like some of them were actually, you know, generated and stuff like that. That actually surprised me. Like, how did you feel when you heard about that? When you actually replicating all these Tekken character move lists?
It's actually amazing what they can pull off with hand animation. I saw an interview with Harada-san, and he even said that the first Tekken was entirely hand animated. Which, when you watch the first Tekken, it actually looks like motion capture. And maybe there was some in there or something, but I don't know. But it's amazing that they can pull that kind of stuff off. So, but it's I knew that the combos were not motion capture because they motion capture the individual moves and they just string them together because mocapping the combo is kind of out of the question. But it was a little bit of a shock finding out that so many of Baek-Do-san's moves were just. Like, how the hell do I do this?
So can we put the hunting hawk controversy to rest, Lord Eric? Because people act like this is some move that could really be done by you. Like, come on, like, who? How dare they accuse you of that? Like,
no, that's insane. That's insane. So Horong hunting hawk doable, right? You can do it, and I managed to pull it off against the table. But Baek-Do-san, no. Can't do it. But I think you really do need you need rockets on your feet to do that.
Exactly. Educate these guys. No, it's not humanly possible. Just back those songs. His is not humanly possible.
Yeah.
And I consider that an open challenge, by the way. If somebody wants to do that, prove me wrong.
We got a bend the knee segment.
Yeah, Lord Eric bend the knee segment. If you can do that, Baek-Do-san, Hunted Hawk, he challenges you.
All these guys that comment, they're like, "Man, dude, where's the hunting hawk?" And back to I always say, "Man, do it, show me."
I dare you.
You got an iPhone.
This man's going to be in Sid one day because someone took that. He was like, "He told me to." Someone killed him.
Real quick, Lord Eric, your favorite Tekken character or characters?
Liu Long.
Ooh. Yeah. So you got to be heartbroken right now. No, he's not in Tekken 7.
Yeah, so far.
What stances? You did that Phoenix stance with Cream. What were the stances? What was the flows? Talk to me.
I would go, so I would do, oh man, I'm actually bringing up Tekken Tag.
Let's go.
I would play tag. I would do tag with Yoshimitsu and Liu Long. And I would do, with Liu Long, I'd always do that I'd do the down back left kick. And
okay. Jump into the snake.
That would bring me in the snake. and then I do like the free right punches the snake on the ground, and then I do the LR. I'll do that.
Oh, okay.
All that way. So
nice.
that was really good.
Yo, you were very good. You talking real technical talk now. What's interesting though is that what blew you up was not necessarily Lei. So it was Warang. So which was my favorite character. So tell me like how did that? It was just because you didn't see anyone doing his move list, or just his move list was just more flashy, appealing. You felt to represent.
The reason I started, actually, that was the first one that I did was Warang, and that was because I got that kicking tree target thing that's in those videos. Mm-hmm. I bought that just for training, and it just seemed like the perfect thing to do a Warang move list with, and so that's actually why I started with Warang, and
I'm very happy that you did.
Thank you. I just redid his too, because I didn't do the full move list.
Yeah, sorry.
So I decided, I'll just do the full thing, which took forever. It was really difficult.
I was happy with the redone. I retweeted your remake of the Tekken 7 move list because I was appreciative because I'm a fan of Flamingo Stance. And you had it in it for this one, and I was like, yes, he's got Flamingo. I'm good now. I'm satisfied. Cool. All right. So before we move on over that, any other question by the Lord before we get into the show?
I wanted to kind of get into some things. Also, I have to commend you specifically on the Bob move list. Ever since Bob debuted, I was like, there is no way anybody can actually fight like this. I'm like, if you're a fat guy, the most you're gonna fight like is like Sammo Hung. But then you did the actual move list with the flips, with the rolls, and all that, and actually making it looking hot. I was like, oh my god, it was insane. So I got to commend you for that. And also,
started doing the Bob move list with a pillow in my stomach.
You created a fat.
Yes, he did.
I never released it, so I'm gonna have to put that out at some point.
You gotta put that out.
It's hilarious. But the question I really wanted to bring up to you, since you're a heavy martial artist, and as people who've been playing the Tekken series, you've noticed that the Tekken series over the years, the styles have gotten a little bit more extreme and non-believable. And we kind of come to the point is like, what other styles could they actually put in Tekken? The only one I have on my mind currently right now is monkey style. But other than that, I'm out of ideas. Like, what do you think with your experience?
So interestingly, they put out this Josie character, a Filipina character, but she just took Bruce's move list and put it there. It's kind of surprising. Like, you would think that they would put like, I mean, I know that it's not really kosher to put weapons into Tekken, but you can do some kind of Kali Eskrima that's empty-handed. I would think that they would try something like that. You know what I mean? That would be kind of cool. I think it's pretty obvious now that Wing Chun is making a big comeback because of what Ip Man.
Yeah,
he did something like that. I don't know how you would, but I'm sure that you could take the Ip Man move list now and make it into a character.
Ip Man, huge.
You know what I mean?
That'd be very counter heavy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like the rapid punches. I mean, I think that'd be pretty hot if they did that.
Absolutely.
I think maybe there's no jujitsu yet, really, aside from a little bit of Nina. But in King, but can you imagine how frustrating that would be to put jujitsu back in? I don't know.
It's funny you say that because that's why I gravitated towards Craig Mardick, because I thought they were going to try to attempt that, fully with him, with the mount stance and stuff like that. Lord Attic, you had something you wanted to say about jiu-jitsu?
I'm all for making a character that annoys people. like I don't play head-to-head fighters, but I know people get upset with like grabs on head-to-head fighters. Imagine like a character that only does that.
That's how I played Craig Mardick. It's all about getting to the ground.
Yeah, keep that guy off of you.
Lord Cognito made people afraid to get on the ground. It's like
this guy wrestling people. Him and King. Oh God.
Yes, sir.
These guys
was our resident King master. I was Craig Mardick and Warang.
I'm Eddie Gordo. I'm the guy that you hate. Actually, when he's Tiger. Excuse me.
That's a good question, though. That's a good segue. Eddie Gordo's move list. We haven't seen that yet, Lord Eric.
Man, don't.
Capoeira.
Man, I can't do capoeira. But really, God, I don't know how I'm gonna pull that off. I'm hoping that like this just stops being popular by then.
They stop asking you.
Not after today.
Yeah.
He's just going to pull the. I don't see any comment related to asking me.
No, every video there's like 15, 20 people that ask about Eddie Gordo. Like, yeah, soon, eventually.
You know what you could do, right?
You know what to call
He's going to wait till he gets old enough where he physically am not even capable of doing anymore. Dude, I'm too old now.
No. What he could do is he could get a co-host, and they could have a segment. It'd be awesome.
The co-host is Mark the Cascos. Because I think that's the only movie I've ever seen represent that art. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. I don't remember many capoeira films.
In terms of whole movies, I don't think there's a whole lot out there.
Yeah.
I mean, Latif Crowder is kind of the guy who represents capoeira right now out there on the market. He was the guy in The Protector with Tony Jaa.
Yes.
Right. And he also played Eddie Gordo in the terrible, terrible Tekken movie that came out.
Oh, that movie was awful. Sorry, shots fired. I hated it.
No, that's a terrible movie. We should all spread the word and make sure. So bad. But it's because this company owns the live action rights to Tekken. They have to make a movie every 5 years. So that's why in 2014 they did that terrible Tekken movie. You guys saw that?
Not be mentioned.
They're like, we're going to spend as least money as possible to make this, knowing it's terrible just to keep these rights.
Yeah,
Fox bastardizing my Fantastic Four series.
That's coming to an end, guys. It's coming to an end.
I hope so. Cool. All right, so we got some good background on the Lord. So we're gonna get in real quick on what the Lord's been playing this week. So I'll start with Lord Eric. I know you've been busy. You got a lot going on, family and stuff like that. But what was the last kind of game that you played, recently or with it, not too long ago?
This isn't quite fitting for the podcast, but there's a point-and-click game called Thimbleweed Park that crowdfunded, and it's a point-and-click game where you pick up and use them. That's actually sort of my bread and butter as a kid when I would play games. That was a lot of what I spent my time.
Well, Myst? Did you play Myst?
I did play Myst, and I was so pissed off that when you beat Myst, you don't get an ending. You get to hang out. That's all they give.
That is true. That is true. Oh my God.
That makes you play. It's impossible, and they don't give you an ending. But no, those are the games that I loved as a kid, like the LucasArts Adventures, and so the guys that did the Monkey Island game.
Oh, Richard's Monkey Island. I remember that. Yeah, I love that game.
Yeah. So they did a new one called Thimbleweed Park, and it was kickstarted. And,
okay.
And it's kind of in the style of Maniac Mansion, and they had the kind of
I knew something from there.
Ron Gilbert.
Nice.
Ron Gilbert, exactly. So I started playing that. I played a lot of Tekken 7 lately because I got a PS4. I got Tekken 7.
Nice.
Now and then.
Forgot to play that Tekken. So are we competitive with the Tekken? Are we one of the top guys?
No, I'm such a joke when it comes to Tekken. I think my username is StuntPeople on PlayStation Network. Go ahead and add me. And
I got you, mate.
If you want to challenge me, be prepared to win.
I'll bring my what I got now. I'll stunt like I'm the real Taekwondo guy.
We can lay you along back, then I'll be back.
You know what Lord Cognito's doing right now, don't you? He's on the Amazon about to buy another PlayStation. We can put this on YouTube.
He can buy mine out of the basement.
That's the only time I'm going to get a chance to beat Lord Eric in combat sports. So I got to take my advantage. No doubt. All right, so let's get over to Lord Attic. What have you been playing this week?
Cuphead and Destiny. And I played the Fortnite thing. I don't know if we're going to talk about that. But I could kind of see why, they a little upset because now I don't really want to play PUBG anymore.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into that. That's one of our topics. We'll get into it. No doubt. Of course. What's up? What have you been playing this week?
I've been playing some Destiny, getting my power level up. So I'm at 290 finally. So I'm ready for this latest Nightfall. And then for you guys to help me out with this raid and get my budget.
Wow, I'm impressed.
So I've been playing that. I've been playing some Cuphead. Cuphead is fantastic. It's difficult, but it's fair, and that's that balance that's tough to strike with those type of games.
Fair, but it's firm.
And if you die, it's your fault.
Yep.
Yeah, it's your fault, no doubt.
And besides that, the Switch, man. Switch had 18 games come out this past week. So literally 18 games. And a lot of them are shovelware. But then you have some good ones.
Don't you say a lot of them were shovelware? 95% of all of them was crapware.
Here we go. Lord King's racism against
I am so glad. If it wasn't for Lord King, I'd have to deal with this Switch praise every week.
Yo, you guys make no sense.
Yeah, you go out of your way.
Not gonna put the Switch.
Exactly.
Yo, I'm not going out of my way to anything. You're going out of your way to tell us that 18 games came out, and I'm going to tell you that 95% of that 18.
What came out of my mouth right after that? I said, "There's a good one."
You should have started. You should have prefaced it with 18 crapware games came out.
Oh my God. Lord Eric, are you interested in the Switch in any capacity?
I'm sorry, Tekken.
I said, Lord, are you interested in the Nintendo Switch in any capacity? Have you seen it, or there's something that doesn't interest you?
No, it seems cool because you've got like those two little switches and you can use your hands and move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems cool. But I mean, if it goes like Wii, then they're going to be, 5 first-party titles and then 150 shitty shovelware
That was Wii's MO. That's not the
Here
Switch.
we go.
I got you. I hear you. Fair points. I hear what you're saying. Definitely that. There's some arguments towards the strip as far as the shovelware titles and stuff like that. But there's also some great quality titles as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's continue with the Lords of Playing. So that was it, Lord Sav, as far as
that was it.
Cool. Lord King, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, Destiny. I finished the raid twice and did the Prestige Nightfall and the regular Nightfall. I'm working on my third character now, which will be a hunter, because I found out this infinite super that you can do with this new exotic boots. So I'm definitely training my character that way. Then I'm going to delete one of my warlocks to make a Titan. Start him from the ground up so I can have all three represented. But New Monarchy, that's one of my factions. Dead Orbit is one of my factions. And I'm getting this third character up so I can put him in, Future War Call. Yeah, and playing Cuphead. I started Cuphead yesterday officially. The first night I touched it, I wanted to see because I couldn't believe it was real. I'm like, I had to see it on my television. Then I tweeted that out, that it was on my television. And I tweeted at Phil, please get more promotion on this game because it's an Xbox exclusive. And I really want the world to know about this game. It's $20. So I think
right now, I actually never heard of this game. And now I'm looking it up.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. Let me tell you, Lord Eric, it's right up your alley.
It's perfect for him.
It's right up your alley too. It's classic, like 19. What era would you say that is, Lord King Losoff?
That's the 50s.
20s. Like that's like the 20s style.
Yeah, the 20s, 50s. Yeah.
It's all hands-on, Lord Eric. Like both of the guys that worked on the game, didn't they lose their jobs? We're gonna get into Cuphead again.
Yeah, we're gonna get into Cuphead. Yeah.
Oh my! You really? And it's on. It's also. Is it part of the Windows 10 stores?
Yes, I just downloaded it right now for my PC because I purchased it on my Xbox. And the cool thing about Xbox is a lot of the exclusive titles, when you purchase it on your digital for your system, you can play it anywhere on any Windows PC type format. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Play anywhere.
So yeah, I just downloaded it, but I really want this game to be pushed more because. For $20, if you own an Xbox and you're in the know or you're not in the know, you should have it. No, that's my selfish promo for the game because everybody in the chat should have it. So that's me going to the chat. That's all.
No doubt. So Lord Kaibatsu, what have you been playing? I'm assuming Cuphead.
That's a given. Also, the usual Destiny was able to get the faction rallies, get that going on. You know, Latte War Call. You know how I roll.
Oh my God, we're gonna get into faction rallies. We'll get into that.
Also, since probably nobody else besides me and Brian would probably be saying it, I was playing my Switch on my lunch breaks. Right now, I'm feeling the Steam World Dig 2. That is an outstanding.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game.
Basically, it's
I've heard about
what
it.
did you just say? What was the name of that game?
Steam World Dig 2.
What
like,
you said? What again?
Steam World.
Oh my
Steam World Dig 2. Like
okay.
Steam World.
I thought you said something else.
But this is where you're showing. This is where you're showing the fact that you all this premium gamer stuff. There's a lot of all this stuff coming to Steam too. I don't see you playing it. So
shots fired.
Exactly. But here's my argument for this. just to get my point out there. The thing is, the Steam World Dig 2 is an indie game that I would love to play. But the thing is, you can get it on the Xbox. You can get it on the PlayStation 4. But the thing is, if I'm going to put Steam World Dig 2 versus Destiny 2, what am I going to play?
Exactly.
Destiny 2.
Which is where the Switch finds the happy medium to play those indies because it's portable and you're on the go. And especially like a guy like Eric, he's making movies, he's on the go. Sometimes he doesn't have time to be at home in front of his big PS4 and the big TV.
The Switch, you could fit in those indies.
That's where the Switch comes in.
The funny thing is that's the argument that we all have. Even King, even Addict, they have the same argument.
But they left it.
No, I don't hate the system. I like the system. I don't hate it. I'm just telling you, just like
Look, here's
everybody
my
else
issue,
has
okay?
been saying, don't shovel me.
Here's my issue.
I understand.
Like, look, I bought this for first party, okay? And like people be coming at me when I'm like, dude, like until Mario Odyssey, until like Rabbids come out, I got nothing to play. And then people, especially Lord Cognito, was like,
if you're a first party guy,
Lord Cognito, he's like, you got plenty to play. I'm like, maybe you do. But
let's be fair, a lot of people were not playing the Wii U games. Like every single Wii U release on the Switch, I'm like, I never played this. Oh, this joint is hot.
Wait. What's Wii U? What are you talking about? What is Wii U?
Shots fired. Lord Eric, bringing the kicks early.
It was an extra controller for the Wii.
I enjoyed my Wii, but
I hear you. I wasn't with the Wii U either. I wasn't with the Wii U. I hear you.
Exactly.
But we got a little sidetracked. Let's get this show going. Go a little left. But yeah, as far as me, it's been as far as on the Xbox, it's been Destiny 2, playing a ton of it, getting the raid done, doing all that stuff. As far as the Switch, it's still NBA 2K18. Oh my gosh, I've been playing that to death. Just love it. And I played Cuphead finally last night. I had a couple hours.
Cuphead needs to be on the Switch, though. I will.
Yeah,
say
Cuphead
that.
is made. I thought to say. I said Cuphead is a perfect Switch port. Like it just. But the thing about the game, we're going to get into a Lord Addict's topic. We'll talk more about that. But that's pretty much what I've been playing. So let's get on with the show. I know we've been talking a little bit. So we had last week's poll, and that was the results are in. The people have spoken. So to the question, when devs like Bethesda with Doom, Square with Final Fantasy 15, and Take-Two with NBA 2K18 attempt AAA Switch ports, does lower resolution and frames per second discourage you from buying? In a razor-close poll, the winner at 58% is the no. We want more AAA games on the Switch group. So the people they definitely still want the AAAs. And coming in a close second, though, very close at 42%, was the yes, we hate gimped AAA experience.
Somebody was spamming that poll.
So thanks to all who participated in last week's poll. And real quickly, so we can move on, what do the Lords just think about this?
I just think when you make the argument about gimping stuff on the Switch, you got to remember that as console gamers, a lot of people who are like PC elitists think that we're playing the GIMP version of the game. So everything is relative. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
So, and sometimes you got to realize about the portability. Because of the portability, you can really get the most out of those games when you don't have the time to sit down all over there. So, and plus, to put that systems like that portable, you need to have control.
I would give you that argument if this was solely marketed as just a portable device, but it's not. It's marketed as also as a console device.
Yeah, but let's be real. If it wasn't portable, it would be Wii all over again.
Yeah,
I mean,
they should have marketed it that way. They should have marketed it as a portable device.
You can't market it one way and then not take the negative publicity the other way. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, but the sales are because of the portable, though. Because
you can't say that. You can't speak.
And we'll be moving on from this topic. Nintendo, this and that. So let's get into the round table. All right, Lord King.
Yes.
You had a topic about the evolution.
Yes.
Evolution. The fighters. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so we all come from some form of video game fighting background. I mean, if you played in the coin ops back in the days, you come in, you plunk down your quarter like we talked last week, and you got your fight on. But we've seen the evolution of video game fighting from its inception. It used to be the one-on-one karate champ, and
karate champ.
Yes. Now we've worked our way, and remember, the karate champ was crazy. You get that one punch, bow, he sleeps.
Victory.
Yes.
Winner.
Yes. So now we have worked our way up to where we had Tekken 7 right now, and Marvel versus Capcom, Infinite, games like that. But what I've noticed, and we saw Tekken changed certain things in it, like left punch, right punch, left kick, right kick, and that changed the genre into another direction. But what also Tekken did was it added story. Now, when it got to story, you wanted to end the game with every last character to get every last story element to it. And what we see now is microtransactions and downloadable content, downloadable characters to keep the longevity into the fighting genre. So this past week, well, the week before, because I kept my segment for this. I knew it was fighting week. This is fighting weekend.
Lord Eric's in the building, baby.
Yes, Lord Eric is here, so this is fighting weekend. I brought Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. Story is fantastic. They didn't allow me to broadcast the game for the first 2 days. I guess I had a little lock on it, or put a video up of the game. Yeah, the embargo was on it, I guess. But even though the game was released, didn't make any sense. It has a very rich story, and then you have the DLC with the characters and the evolution of the video game fighting. What I wanted to know with you guys is, where do you see the future going with this? Because we have Injustice: God Among Us with the DLC, and the microtransactions with the great story. What is the next evolution in our fighting genre that can keep this dying breed alive? Because we only have a couple of fighting games right now, as before we used to have a huge variety.
That's a great topic. Let's get Lord Eric in on this to get his assessment.
Where do I think it's going to go? Man, if I knew that, then I'd go make the video game. Wouldn't be bothering with you.
Where would you like to see it go?
Man, I mean, I would still like to see something that's much more flow-based. You guys remember Rise? What was it called? Rise to Honor, the Jet Li game?
Yeah, that was the analog. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was the analog, and it was kind of it didn't really work, but you kind of could see what they were doing, which was this very like flow-based fighting system, and I would love to see something like that. I have no idea how you would do it though, but something that's more intuitive, because I think Tekken sort of took it to that next level with the left punch, right punch, left kick, right kick, made it intuitive. By the way, here's a little bit of here's a pop trivia quiz question real quick. What was the game that did the left punch, left kick, right kick before Tekken?
Wow, you may have got me stumped.
Was it Tobo? No, I don't think it was Tobo.
Nah.
Wasn't it Tobo?
Tobo came after Tekken, I thought.
Tobo was after Tekken. It was,
and Virtual Fighters didn't have that because they just had a block button.
Yeah. Whoa.
Damn, you got me stumped there, Lord Eric. I don't know.
There was an arcade game called Time Killer.
Oh my God! Yeah. Really? I didn't realize that.
There was a head button too, and you could do a one hit kill if you did the
Time Killers had the worst fatalities ever. I remember that game.
You could dismember, Anyway.
That's a great question. Awesome.
So that's where I would like to see it go. I'm interested too to see how VR is going to shape fighting games.
Yes, thank you.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yo,
Now,
this guy is endearing himself to me as we go along.
Yeah, he's a big proponent of VR. So you definitely have Lord King happy. Now, speaking of which, we know Tekken 7 has a VR. Did you attempt to check it out?
I don't have a VR kit. I don't have the goggles for it yet. I want to get it and just see what it's like. But it's not like it's first person, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, look. I don't know. Lord King, you have to help me out on this.
You were seesaw, like you were like at the side of the fight. That's what the one I kept hearing about. That
I was not buying Tekken for PlayStation. I was waiting for it on my X. But
you're a VR guy, so I'm surprised you didn't get the VR.
No, the VR is like a spectator mode. Like it's like it's like a giant TV.
Okay,
type
gotcha.
of thing. And I'm not for the gimmicks. Like if you're gonna actually make a VR game. Then make a VR game. Like certain games actually work in VR, and right now to this day, Resident Evil 7 is probably the scariest game going because of that VR. So,
amen to that.
No doubt. All right. So, any of the laws I start with Lord Kaibatsu about the what about how you feel about the evolution of fighting games, or maybe where do you want to see it go, as well as Lord King's point as far as microtransactions entering in.
Well, microtransactions, I can see microtransactions in terms of, like, for example, with Tekken and Injustice. You have so many costumes that you can get with the characters, and also Injustice. Even though it does seem shady, I do like the fact that they'll give you a skin that's an entirely different character with their own different dialogue. So that adds a little bit of flavor to it, and I would actually pay extra for that. So,
no doubt, Lord.
But in terms of the actual genre, like it really hasn't gotten that different over the years. Pretty much, each one has their own closed-in system. So I think more it would be that to expand the fighting game genre, you would need to go into different ideas. And I know I'm going to get flack on this, but
here it comes.
ARMS. That's actually has been a good renovation, because the thing I like about that game.
What system is ARMS on, Lord Kaibatsu? I forget.
I think it's Switch. Isn't it Switch?
Is that first party? I forget.
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay, thanks.
No, but let me
your point. We were discussing that we buy games for first party. I will
give the caveat with it that they needed to have a lot more in that package. But in terms of the fighting itself, is not just mashing out combos. They actually do have combos if you look into it, but it's more you have to attack. You have to use the right type of punch for the right situation. Also, you're waiting for your opponent, and since you're stretching your arms, there's a lot more. Like you have to do a lot more movement to get away with it. It's more about using the specific moves rather than just banging out a long combo.
Okay, instead of mashing out.
And the thing is, us guys, we play Tekken. We play Tekken more than Street Fighter and those other games. Why? Because the thing is, Tekken has been more towards using the right move for the right situation rather than just banging out the combos.
Yes.
Although we know where Tekken has gone with the juggles, and I'm glad that they toned it down for Tekken 7.
Yeah, it got more back to the stand-up fighting as opposed to so much Okazami, so much comboing, that kind of stuff. So, which is cool. All right, Lord Sovereign, what do you feel about the evolution of fighting games, microtransactions and things?
Well, the microtransaction stuff, I think it's as long as the base game that you're getting is fairly feature complete and has a robust amount of stuff in it, I think it's fine. I think Street Fighter V, they made that mistake where they gave you a very bare bones game and then sort of piecemealed everything off after that. And I think apart from the hardcore, everybody sort of fell off of the game quickly because of that, because there wasn't just enough meat there initially. So I think the microtransactions have to be relegated to like costumes and stuff like that, like Lord Kaibatsu said. And characters down the line, that makes sense to pay more for characters down the line. But I think the base game has to be pretty feature complete for people to stick to it initially.
Fair enough.
And in terms of the evolution of the genre, I think they've taken it in so many different directions, like Kaibatsu said, with the arms and stuff like that. So I think people approaching fighting games from different perspectives is there, and that'll continue to happen. I agree with Lord Eric in terms of the flow style gameplay. I want to see them incorporating people being able to really let loose with these different styles and games. And I know it's difficult because you have to worry about frames and hitboxes and stuff like that. So all of this stuff has to be incorporated. So it's difficult to make something that flows really smoothly. But I think that's definitely the future. One thing that I haven't seen a lot of lately, which I loved, is like injuries making during the course of a fight. Altering the way you have to fight. Like if you look back at Bushido Blade and something like that, where you could die. But you could be injured also. You could be hurt and you're gimped, and then that limits the moves that you can do during the course of a match. I think the UFC games have started to sort of touch on that, obviously with like the progression of injuries and how hurt you are during the course of a game and stuff like that. But I think that adding that realism to a section of fighting games would be very cool, because we don't see enough of that sort of stuff. I want to be able to be hurt in a match and then have to change how I have to fight in order to
basically adjust like the course of a real fight. Yeah,
exactly. So that sort of stuff. So hopefully somebody does that sort of stuff.
Nice. Lord Attic, we know you are not the head-to-head fighting game with Young Wolf, but I'm curious on your perspective on fighters and the others. What could they do to get you kind of involved in fighting games?
Go back in time and make me play them when I was a kid. I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I understand that concept behind head-to-head fighters, but like the way I see it, I didn't have people to play that kind of that genre with. So I didn't grow up with people playing that genre. So I didn't continue playing that genre. I mean, trust me, people have tried to get me to play that genre, and it's just like, no.
Well, I mean, that's a good point, though. You're making a very valid point. I mean, the fighting game culture, you definitely need someone to consistently get in there. And I mean, Lord Kaibatsu knows, like, our battles were legendary in Tekken and Lord King, Lord Saw.
Steel sharpens steel.
Steel sharpens steel. We push each other. You come back, you get beat by your boy, you come back, you try to work on your game. What did you do wrong? What could you do to combat certain moves? So I hear what you're saying. But I guess with you, Lord Attic, another question real quick was, as far, I know you actually, trained jiu-jitsu. You actually, did some MMA. So my question, like, what the UFC games didn't really appeal to you neither? You didn't try attempt those?
It was a cool thing, but as far as playing them consistently, I didn't really do that either. It's just like
Bari.
Oh, Jabari's in the chat.
Jabari, what's up, Lord Bari? What's up?
It's just. It's different playing a video game and actually, working out and, training itself. It's completely different. Like, you can't really transition from one to the other, like, and get the same feeling. And, I didn't do it very long. Like, I'm definitely not on, like, Lord Eric's by any means whatsoever level. It was just something I did on the side, when it was mainly a thing that I did to stay in shape back when I was in my early 20s. But I'm still 25, so I'm still technically in my early 20s. But you get what I'm saying. I mean, I guess what would be an entry head-to-head fighter?
Well, I don't think there's. A while back, there was a game called Rising Thunder that had.
That sounds too much to me, man. Like that.
But the thing about the game was. Yeah, right. The thing about the game was that it was created so that you could basically super moves and stuff like that. Everything was kind of consolidated to one button. So all these crazy combinations were kind of taken out of the picture, and you could focus on the actual fighting and learning how to implement these moves during the game. And then you can piecemeal it out afterwards if you kind of wanted to make it more difficult for yourself. And actually the company that was making that game got taken over by Riot, the guys who make League of Legends, and they canceled the game. But from what I saw early on, it seemed like something that would sort of be able to get people who aren't into fighters into fighters and explain those systems, make them a little easier.
What we got to get Lord Eric to take Lord Addict into the Tekken dojo.
Yes,
acclimated to the ways of Tekken.
Nah, I see some of his videos. I want to stay far away from that. That's not for me.
Lord, we got someone you can beat.
Here's the game that's going to bring Addict because the Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I've actually been watching a lot of videos on it. It looks really good, but actually the system itself seems very. Like, it's simple, but it has a little bit of depth. I think it's only like 3 buttons. And plus, Lord Attic is a big anime fan, so I think that might be the one to get him in.
That's a good point.
I got real into Soul Calibur because of Link being in the GameCube version.
Soul Calibur. Okay, there's hope for the young wolf. Yes,
But,
Soul Calibur.
Yeah, that was a minute. And I tried Killer Instinct when I first got my Xbox One.
Yes.
Like some hope. We got to get him in the dojo.
I probably spent more time downloading the game than I played it.
Oh my god! So let me finish this topic up. I'll answer the question. I mean, great topic, Lord King. Fighting games, as you know, is near and dear to me. We've been playing them, all the lords. We've been playing them for a long time. You know, Tekken is my heart. Like I'm similar to Lord Eric. You know, Virtua Fighter was the one that first captured me graphically.
Yeah.
But when I saw Tekken and just the true representation of martial arts and just the the limbs, the right punch, left kick, and I remember seeing Tekken 2 and seeing the counter system and Paul Arena countered a move, and I thought that was amazing. Like and each subsequent version, they added a character that represented a different martial art. So when Tekken 3 came around, and I saw Warang, and I'm just like, wow, they finally have a kicker. Like nothing against Beck. Beck was the man, and that was Lord King's guy.
Yeah, Beck through Dosan.
But like Horang to me was like the evolution of kicking. And I'm just like, and I'm such a fanboy for kicking. So it was just like, wow, this is truly amazing. So, just to see that the title still strong and see Tekken still successful at this gate age. I got a chance to meet Harada-san in E3 2015, and he's such a great guy. And, I told him, I was like, you have no idea how much this game franchise means to us. Like we grew up with this thing, and just to see you guys support it and stuff like that. So, and to Lord King's point with the storyline, I think that's very important. Like you said, I like to know about the character, their own personal struggles. This Tekken, I was a little disappointed because, don't get me wrong, the Mishima saga is great, and it had to end, and we had to get a culmination on that. But I felt as a result, the other characters suffered. Like if you play the game with the other characters, you don't get much from a narrative perspective. So I want to see them kind of go back into that with the next Tekkens, and then also after that, like as far as the microtransactions and stuff like that, Tekken Tag had like a lot of suits, a lot of items, Lord Eric, if you remember. Like it was a lot of customization, and I don't know, it just feels like Tekken 7 was a little less on that, so I'm a little disappointed.
Even Tekken 6 had a pretty good customization scheme, and then it seems like 7, they sort of what would you say? They made everybody sort of the same.
Yeah, like but Tekken 6 and those guys, like they had individual customized items that really reflected the character's personality more, I felt.
Exactly. And that's interesting too, because I think that's such a huge element now with every game, is the ability to personalize your character, because playing online and the ability to make your own kind of character, your avatar, you want to make yourself. That's why the WWE games do so well in a certain field that you can make. I mean, I have a friend who started the Stunt People with me. He makes all of us every single time, and like, and the amount of customization that you can do in the WWE games is incredible. It'd be great to still do that with, Tekken, or if Tekken just outsourced that technology to someone else, even import that creation set into Tekken, that would have been really smart.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely. And like I said, I mean, it just, like I said, I'm just glad, as much as I'm nitpicking with certain stuff, I am glad that the genre is still alive and kicking. It's great to see Street Fighter around. It's great to see Injustice, all these games. There was a period when the fighting game genre went away a little bit, and to me, it's refreshing to see it come back and people still support it. You got my guy, Lord J. Barry, he's in the chat. He does competitive tournaments all the time. I try to catch his stuff, and it's great to see. I actually catch coming to some of the Evos, when I see those guys fight, and obviously they're not athletes, but at the same time, it's really competitive. It's high level play. And then you sit there and realize, like, as much as I think I'm great, these guys are
these guys is out of control.
It is funny how you're in an echo chamber and you think you hot within a certain group, and then you have somebody from outside the group. I know we did it a few times. We brought some Tekken heads over to Lord Cognito's house, thinking we were like, the best there was, and then we just got it handed to us.
Well, let me say this. I got to put my chest out for Lord Eric, because he's in the building. So I got to put my chest out right now. I will say this. In my head, I wasn't proud of it in my head. Like I put it this way, look, Eric. We used to do like the Bruce Lee stuff. Like people used to come up, tap your doorstep, and challenge you, and we go to the arcade. I had people from Connecticut. I had people come down. I mean, they heard like my harangue was good. And we would go to the arcade. I'd never forget. Like I would challenge these guys, and Lord High knows, like I've won my fair share. Like I had a name in those streets for a while.
You did it at the last E3 with me.
I'm not gonna lie.
When a guy beat me in Tekken, and I was like, "Hold on, let me call my cousin. Hold on a second." Yo, I incognito skipped the line.
Good look at it.
I did play I don't know if you consider it a fighting game, the Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi game that was for the PS2.
Yes.
I played a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a lot of the Naruto Storm games too.
Yes, that's me and him. That's me and him. That's me and him.
Are you talking about the time I beat you?
Oh my God!
Yo, listen, you got one win. It was 4-5, bro. Cut it out. Walk away.
I mean, it don't matter.
Wait, time out.
You act like
freestyled on you.
One round. I mean, that win
on
the whole match.
Oh
you are a veteran in it. You played all eight games. I walked into your world and gave you a fair one.
Still lost.
You walked out with a black eye. You got a black eye.
It don't matter. You lost the match.
No, listen. That's like you going challenging Lord Eric, and you get some matches in. No, you gonna get knocked out. I came into your joint and I gave you a black eye.
King. That's all I gave them.
On that note,
hold the black eye. Just hold that black eye.
The competitive juices are clearly flowing.
We can play after this.
We got to move the show along. We're going a little over. I know Lord Eric's time is valuable, so we got to speed through a little bit. So Lord Eric, we know Cuphead released, so we want to get your impressions and bring that to the round table.
The game is crazy. I love it. I can't stop playing it. Is it sad that I sped home because I knew that game was at my house? I was sitting there driving, and the whole time I'm thinking is like, I'm gonna kill that clown. Like that clown is done. Like there's no way that clown lives past this stream. And I had people in my some people that were in my stream yesterday. They were literally starting to count how many times I was dying. I was like, and then when I killed the clown, I was like, Jason, what's that death count? You can't go any higher, can you? I killed him.
No doubt. So overall, very pleased with Cuphead, I would say right now, Lord.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the biggest cons, and I know that this shouldn't be a con, is like I feel like I ripped them off. Like the game was worth more than I paid for it.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's only $20, man. It's only $20. That's a good point. So now, Lord Eric, now that you've been hearing about this Cuphead game that we were talking about, would it be something that would be interest you, or?
I'm about to check it out, I think, because I love the old school like side scroll. Is it a beat 'em up or whatever it is? Is that what you call it?
More of a shooter.
Yeah.
And it also has couch co-op.
It's like a Contra meets Mega Man game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it has a lot of references to Gunstar Heroes, so that would be like an after way to describe it. A much harder Gunstar Heroes, I would actually say it as.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "Wow, yeah."
And like I said, the art style is just like that. Lord Attic, I'm sorry.
Shout out to Lord Smooth, man. This man streamed this game.
Oh,
and he has like 5 streams that has clips on Twitter right now where he finally beat a boss and he took a giant gulp of coffee too fast because he beat this boss and he was so excited. The man nearly choked on camera. Then he has a clip where he finally beat the little blob thing that jumps up. He yanked up so fast and he literally ripped out the phone his headset cord that was in his mic, and you could tell the thing like it had resistance, and then it flew off of his head. I thought it was
God. Yeah,
and then
Cuphead will do that to you.
Yeah, then he had one time where he lost so many times. He stomped on the ground so hard he fell out of his chair.
Oh my God. Shout out to Lost, but like you said, the difficulty level of Cuphead is definitely one of its strong points. Let's just say part of the charm. Real quick, let's speed through. For me, like I said, I get a chance to play it last night for the first time. Art style, absolutely amazing. Feels like an old style cartoon. They even have the grainy film work over it. It's fantastic. I mean, literally when I played the game, Lord Eric, I just smiled all the way through. Like it's just a feel good kind of game, And
of Rayman. Remember that one?
Yes.
yes.
Apple with the 30s style art. Yeah.
And you can't really help but to laugh at this game because when you're fighting the clown, this clown is like, it feels like this clown is mocking you the whole time you're fighting it. But then you're like, okay, it's not mocking me, it's just an idiot.
Yeah, right. And then also the classic soundtracks, you know, like the music.
Everything.
Oh, it's just really good, man. It really takes you and puts you in that era. And I'm just happy to see that, you know, like guys like Lord Addict, you know, the young generation and the way it's being promoted. It's a $20 game. And just to see how much people gravitate towards this, it's really cool to see in the community. So that's all I got on it. But I'm going to let the rest of the Lords chime in before we move on.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just the fact that when I was younger, I didn't play these games as much because I sucked at them, and I didn't have the patience for it. Like Lord Kaibatsu will tell you, Lord Kaibatsu, this is his thing. Like he gets into a zone, and he's like a savant for this sort of stuff. Like indicating like what he said because he beat the game already. That's just not something I would get a few bosses in, a few levels in, and that would be it for me. But now, like I'm just more willing to play anything, and it doesn't bother me that I'll die 30 times and I'll just keep going. It doesn't matter. So the fact, like I said before, like this game is difficult, but it's fair. If you die, it's your fault. It's not cheap really in any way, shape, or form. The art style, the smoothness with which it moves. Like I just got my my Elite controller, and like playing that on the Elite controller D-pad, like it's absolutely fantastic.
Lord Anchor said it's got that Fallout music.
It does. It
does.
It does.
Yeah. It does. It's funny because Lord Eric's have a Bethesda shirt, which is funny to see it. Continue, Sal.
Morrowind, kid.
Oh yeah,
that's right. Classic.
Yeah, I'm just glad that it's not one of those games that was overhyped when it first got seen and announced, and then didn't live up to it. I think it completely lives up to it. The only thing I got so far that I don't like so much is that I don't think the run and gun sort of platforming stuff is super great. I prefer the boss rush stuff. It's good, but it's not great to me. But beyond that, like the game is fantastic, and for $20, like really, like there's no reason if you have access to this on a PC or an Xbox, pick it up. Absolutely.
Lord King, I saw your Twitter feed with the picture of it. But my heart when I saw that with Cuphead on your screen.
Yeah, man. When I spoke to the devs at E3 and I got a chance to speak to one of the main cartoonists, and the passion that he had, because he was like close to tears when he was handing out the buttons and stuff like that, and going into how long it was taking for the game, and would the crowd still be around when the game actually dropped? Because remember, the game was announced a while ago, and we all were anticipating this game coming out, and the realization that it was downloaded to my system, I looked at it and I was like, man, I'm going to work right now, but when I come home, I'm gonna touch it. In my eyes, I'm like half eye cracked, and I said, I just gotta touch. I gotta know it's real in my house. And I took a picture to tweet that out. I was like, I tweet it.
It's definitely one of those examples that the game definitely lost a lot of its hype, but it's one of those things where like sometimes that fire is too hot that you can't just shut the door and close it
down.
Once it launched, it was like it don't matter if you said that game. I don't care about the game anymore. They turned around real quick.
Shout out to Lord Chris Cobra and Chief Tommy in the chat. They just talking about the difficulty level. They feel Dark Souls is easier.
I had a part where I was on that. It was the clown, obviously. I was stuck on that clown for like 3 hours, man. Like,
I gotta see this clown. What are you talking about? This infamous clown.
It's like a roller coaster clown where you jump around a clown on a roller coaster, kind of like amusement park thing. It's whatever. But I was at the very end, and I saved my super. I hit him for like 2 rotations, and I was so confident. He was about to get this L. I jumped down to his platform, did the super. And then I got killed, and I was emotionally destroyed. I just said, this did not just happen. This dude is not still alive.
The boss is a heavy multitasker. Like, you have to fight the boss while watching out for the roller coaster that's coming through the screen.
Well, back to my experience with the game. Thanks.
I'll get to that. Go.
Anyway, so I played it half cracked eyes, and then I said, let me get back to it. And when I was loading it up, all my kids was excited that I had the game. I didn't know that it affected them because I showed them, the footage of it at E3, and I showed them, the YouTube streams of the game before it was coming out, and that was a while ago. And then I actually got the game, and all my kids sat down and watched me play. My son was so eager to actually touch, so we did couch co-op, and it's insane that it reaches back to that genre, and it can resonate with my son, and it can resonate with me. And I think this is the turning point in Xbox exclusives. I think this game, if marketed correctly, can push them a little bit further, because you can't get this experience anywhere else but in one spot. And it's a Windows Play Anywhere. So I just downloaded it to my PC right now. Yeah. Well, we don't count those guys. Because Phil is trying to build a bridge, and I actually think he's going to get that bridge built. But this is it. This is it, guys. And if at least 90% of the people purchase this game, it will validate these guys' hard work, because I have not heard anybody say anything other than it's a little hard. Oh, okay. That's how games are. So yeah, my experience with the game, it was fantastic. It is fantastic, and I will try to be like Lord Kaibatsu and finish this game, because he's a gaming guy. Lord Kaibatsu, if you don't know his prowess, he sits down and like Lord Sovereign said, he gets in the zone, and for him to finish Cuphead in a day, brother, I challenge any of you guys out there that in the chat to mess with that resume.
Yeah, you guys can check the achievement. It's on there.
We believe you, Lord Kai. We believe you, Lord Kai. So let's wrap this topic up. I know we're getting a little over on time, and I know Lord Eric, he's got a lot of things he's got to do, and also football approaches. So we got 2 topics left. I want to condense it to one. So for now, unfortunately, we're not probably going to do the Destiny 2 faction rallies. I just wanted to say real quick that my thing on it was just that it was fun. Everyone picking this little ideology in Destiny. I thought it was hilarious. The future war cult, the free Wi-Fi, New Monarchy, all that.
I really feel like people who pick New Monarchy need to have their head checked.
Hey, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, youngin.
Delusions of grandeur. Yeah.
Watch your mouth, youngin. That's royalty we're speaking. But pretty much, I just thought it was a fun thing Destiny did. It was really cool, and we'll definitely get more into that later. But since this is the last topic, we'll condense this to one more topic, which is the PUBG situation. This is still not going away. So, Lord Sav, this will be our last topic. PUBG, what's going on? Fortnite, what's going on? Talk to me.
Well, okay. So the saga continues with Fortnite and Bluehole and PUBG, and now it has finally officially sort of been confirmed that Bluehole is in talks with Sony and PlayStation to bring PUBG to the PlayStation platform. This is something that we assumed was going to happen anyway at some point, but the way Microsoft spoke about how PUBG was going to come to their platform first, it was coming to early access on the Xbox, and the fact that they're publishing the game on Xbox, and in some of the language also indicated they were just publishing it on consoles, period, which wouldn't have made any sense, but the language around it seemed like that. So now it comes out that Bluehole has been in talks with Sony to bring it to PlayStation platforms, and and shout out to Lord Randall Thor, who had some comments on this. A lot of the thinking around it is that we don't know how fast it's going to come to PlayStation platforms. It could be a year, it could be 6 months, it could be a few weeks afterwards. We don't know when it's actually coming to Xbox. We're assuming it's this year. We're looking at maybe December is when people are thinking that it will be ready to go on early access. But now the question is, how does this affect people's perception of the game on Xbox? Because now when you have basically a confirmation that it's coming to the competing platform. I don't blame Bluehole for this at all, because the fact of the matter is that 60 plus million PlayStations out there, right? It would make no sense not to put this game on
business.
But Xbox fans may feel like, well, this was something that they kind of held dear. Like, okay, this and Cuphead are the things that we have to look forward to as sort of quote unquote exclusives on our platform this year.
Right.
And now the longevity of that deal is brought into question. And some of the reasons behind this that people are speculating about is the fact that the issue with Unreal and Fortnite bringing this to the forefront, the fact that this issue with Fortnite bringing in the Battle Royale mode, basically kind of forcing Bluehole's hand into finishing the Xbox version as fast as possible so they can have PUBG proper on Xbox consoles as soon as possible, and also bring a version of PUBG to PlayStation 4 as soon as possible to sort of stave off this sort of resurgence in Fortnite as a result of them bringing this Battle Royale mode. So to sort of stave off the fact that, you know, what they feel that that Epic did with Fortnite and sort of now bringing more popularity to their game based on the Battle Royale mode, because the game proper before that wasn't about that at all and really didn't have the popularity that it's seeing now with this Battle Royale mode. So the speculation is that, yeah, that they want to bring this to as many console gamers as possible before Fortnite takes off.
Yeah, it's an interesting subject. I mean, Lord Anchorman is in the chat right now. He's basically saying that, you know, Bluehole said this back in March, and it's not new news, which is true.
It's not. It isn't.
They did say that. However, the issue which I think that Lord Sovereign is bringing, which I also think is pertinent, is the fact that right now Fortnite is out there, right? Fortnite's out there, and they have a battle royale mode, which is kind of what PUBG's claim to fame is. That's what made PUBG what it is, this PC sensation, Lord Eric, so to speak. And you know, right now they also work closely with them. You know, they work closely with Epic, you know, on the engine. So there's kind of a thinking that they've had the inside track on PUBG and then release that kind of a battle royale mode in their own game, which the argument could be made, which I'm hearing on Twitter and in these internet streets, that Fortnite kind of looks like the more polished, better version of the battle royale mode. So I think
no, that's not Fortnite. That's PUBG we're building.
There you go. You know, and you have a lot of people, because PUBG is still not out yet. It's still, you know, in revisions and stuff like that. You have a lot of people who are looking at Fortnite now, like, hey, you know, why wait? So I can understand now where PUBG is kind of coming from. You know, if maybe some underhandedness, they're feeling a way about it, and they actually made a statement and, you know, talking about legal action and all this kind of stuff. So this is definitely interesting. I want to get the Lords on it. And hopefully we didn't bore Lord Eric to death too much if he's still there. From an ethics standpoint, how does this sound to you?
They heard my name?
We may have lost Lord Eric for a minute. We'll wait till he comes back. But Lord Kai, anybody wants? Oh, there's Lord Eric. He's back.
Yeah, if you want, I could start. So, but basically, I'm on. What is it? I'm on PUBG's side with this. As soon as I heard about the Fortnite Battle Royale, I'm looking at this like, first of all, the PUBG is made with Unreal Engine.
Yes.
Who did they have to talk to about Unreal Engine to get the kinks out and just to work with the system? They had to talk to Epic, which means Epic had to look into PUBG's code. This is where I felt that they had the thing. It's like, oh, so this is how this code, that this is what they were doing for this.
So because they help them, it gives them right to steal the formula.
And yeah, and then they put an import. And then also, here's the other argument. What was the original story for Fortnite? The original story for Fortnite is that you had aliens coming in from a storm, so it was basically a horde mode, and you build and you doing buildings, fortifications.
And nobody's playing that mode now. The game isn't.
But then it goes to, we're fighting each other on the island, which has nothing to do with the original lore of the game. I'm sorry, I'm real quick on this one.
Okay, real quick, let's get Lord Eric. I just want to get a question. All right, have you heard of PUBG in any capacity, Lord Eric? Have you? Okay, so real quick, the synopsis right now of PlayerUnknown is just it's the craze of the internet right now. It's basically what is it? What did you say, Sovereign? Like it's the Hunger Games in a way.
Yeah, it's like the Hunger Games or the movie Battle Royale. I'm sure maybe
Thank you.
Probably didn't watch that movie. So yeah, it's basically people are on
break
an airplane.
the premise down to Lord Eric so he understands why PUBG is a craze it is right now.
So the premise of the game it's based off of an Arma 3 mod or Arma 2 mod. And basically what it does is take the concept of battle royale from like the movie or the Hunger Games, basically where these 100 people are dropped out of an airplane onto an island, and it's basically the last person standing wins. And what they do is like when you're dropped down, you don't have anything, and you have to scavenge weapons, you have to scavenge armor, and it's very tense. And what they purposely do to make it even more tense is that as people die, they condense the playable area.
Yes.
So they forcibly bring you closer and closer together.
Yeah. So the map is like constricted, and it gets close, and you have to stay within that zone like as it goes on.
And it just became again. It released for like $30 in its original state. It sold something north of 13 million copies right now. So the fact that Xbox was able to secure it to come first to the Xbox platform was huge. And the fact that's still happening, but the whole PlayStation 4 thing brings into question how long that exclusivity is going to exist. And now this thing with Fortnite, with the people who provide the engine for PUBG. Where they're taking their game and added a battle royale mode to it that's essentially identical
and promoted it as a PUBG mode. They actually said the title, which the developers from PUBG felt a way about. They made a statement, Lord Eric, and they were like they felt uncomfortable, because of that, So from an ethics standpoint, do you see where they're going with it, or do you feel like, hey, all fair and love and war, this is gaming. What happens, happens. Whoever has the better game has the better game.
So what I'm gathering is that there's a company that used an engine, they made a game, and then the company that made the engine made a game that competed against that game.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my phone's about to die here, so I hope I don't.
That's okay. I know we got to let you go soon.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like your typical sort of corporate secrecy tricks, corporate spying tricks, and unfortunately, it seems like that's like the name of the game when you're in the corporate world. When you want to play with the big boys like that, that's probably what happens. I don't know if there's any kind of like legality behind it, so it's hard for me to comment.
No, hey, fair enough. And like I said, if your phone drops and you got to go, we totally understand, Lord. I know we got you for a while, but and we just finished this thing up real quick. Lord King, Lord Addict, and Lord Kai. I mean, Kai's went already, but Lord King, let's get you in on this real quick. I know you kind of commented.
My thing is, hey man, it's all fair. Yo, you should know if you got something popping and the other guys is making a game at the same time. It's only human nature that they're going to look over and say, hey, let's use that. Now, the shady part comes in is the fact that I'm the provider of this engine for your game. All right, so what? You dragged your feet, bro. Get out of the preview program, get out of this crap, and get your game out. So these guys is going to get their game out before you, and they're going to sell it at full retail, and then you're going to look like the copycat. So this might help Lord King out with this whole segment. That I'm going to get a full release because they got to beat it to the streets, baby.
The only thing that's going to happen is they're going to beat the actual game preview and release the game preview quicker. They're not doing the full version quicker.
There you go. Thank you very much. I think it puts you in a worse position.
I don't care how it goes as long as we get the game. And I have no problem with that.
In the chat, Fortnite free. All right,
I do want to say real quick before Lord Eric's phone dies. If it does die, we appreciate you coming on the podcast. It was definitely a nice addition. I haven't been real active because the whole fighting genre and stuff is a little above me. I don't relate to it a whole lot, but I do appreciate you coming on. And when it comes to the whole Fortnite thing, if I was PUBG, I would be so furious. It's not even funny. Like the thing is like I don't even think it's the fact that there's a copycat out there. I think it's the fact that someone that they invited into their studio that they licensed is like, it's like It's like they were helping them, and then they were sitting there, they were texting someone back at home, like, "Yo, this is how they do this."
But it's the truth. Because that's the thing. If it had been anybody else to come out before them with a copycat, then you understand. But these are the in-house guys that know everything that you're doing.
It's pretty much like
too brute.
It's pretty much like having like some of your key developers leave and make a new one.
And they're paying royalties to Epic.
That's what makes it worse. They're paying royalties for an engine that the engine provider jacked their ideal and got it out on the biggest platform. So they're paying to have ideal stolen from them.
Yeah, pretty much. And now, as a result, I mean, we hear now that, not that we hear now, but we know that there may be more incentive now for the devs of PUBG and Bluehole to get it out on PS4 on multiple platforms and get it out as soon as possible to kind of, put the finger in the dam before if Fortnite
get the preview program out soon as possible.
Get it off for the preview and just ship it out.
So we're running out of time. We're running low on Lord Eric's phone, so we're gonna wrap this thing up a little bit earlier.
Let's wrap it up so we can give our thanks to him.
Yeah. So like I said, thanks Lord Eric for coming through, man. We really appreciate you. Just can you get the fans and everybody to know where they can find you and anything out in social media and stuff like that?
Yeah, you can check me out on Facebook. Just look up the Eric Jacobus, facebook.com/the Eric Jacobus, and then easy to find on YouTube, youtube.com/stuntpeople. You can also just search my name on YouTube, easy to find, and then my Twitter handle is at Eric Jacobus.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would advise everyone, if you want to see this bare limits of what the human body can compose and do shit, it's this dude's YouTube channel. This
is the man. Like I said,
some of the stuff he'd be doing, I'll be like, dude, I think I'd have to like cut a leg off to do that shit.
Stump People, y'all in the chat, they're asking. Yeah, Stump People is the YouTube channel. Please check that out. Lord, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming through and spending some time. I know we had you a little over. Yeah, and we just love what you're doing out there. Continue to do what you're doing. I'm going to get a hold of Harada personally. We're getting you in Tekken 8. I don't care what Oni says. I'm speaking of who I got to speak to. We're going to make
the mocap character, the real official character, not that Mortal Kombat.
He's going to be that character that you click, and it's like, okay, every stunt move, this dude's like, choose his fighting style.
No, I want him to be a new character with his face so he can get promoted.
Him. Real life GK with Jen. All right, let's do these outros, guys. Lord Gaming Addict, Lord Addict, where can we find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Gaming Addict. I've been streaming Cuphead a little bit. For the most part, it's been entertaining. People have been really trolling me because apparently I don't know how to platform, but it's whatever. To be fair, their criticism are justified because I'm telling you, that clown dude had me gone, like gone. But I beat him this morning. You can find me on Twitter, Gaming Addict. You can find me on PlayStation and Xbox, Room to Kill. I've been still trying to change that to Gaming Addict, but as we can see, PlayStation won't let you change your gamer tag. And some dude that made an account 6 years ago that has like 30 gamer score has Gaming Addict.
I'm gonna speak to Bar and these guys about that.
So I do appreciate all you guys coming through. Like I said, I appreciate Lord Eric for coming through again. It's definitely nice to have a different perspective on the podcast that just doesn't just do gaming.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's all.
Cool. Lord Sovereign, where can people find you?
People can find me on Lord Sive ILP on Twitter.
He's appearing online these days.
Oh, barely. I know. They can find me. They can actually find me. BX Sovereign on PSN and Xbox Live. And once again, thank you to Lord Eric for coming through, man. We appreciate the insights, man.
Absolutely. Lord King, where can find you?
Well, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the usual places. PlayStation Network is Xbox 360 Lover 01. Add me.
Not fanboy trolling at all.
Yes. Lord Eric, it's been an honor having you on today. You truly don't understand how much you have impacted us. And it's fantastic. Lord Cognito has been after this interview for a while. And I am so happy and proud that he was able to secure it, and you got on, and you're a great guy, and it's fantastic. Thank you so much for showing up.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. And Lord Kaibatsu, Channel 5's own. Where can we find you?
Well, you can find me looking around doing my thing on Twitter at Lord Kaibatsu. On Xbox Live, you can find me at Lord Kaibatsu, 2 words. And I do have a PlayStation Network account, BX Kaiser. Although whether I use that, that's a different story. I actually want to thank Lord Jacobus. I prefer to usually be on the sidelines, like doing the chat with the guys. But I had to get onto this podcast because the thing about Jacobus I love is that he's keeping Tekken alive with his videos. Like just the love that has. And plus, to all the people who listen to the Iron Lord podcast, this is one of the pillars: martial arts and Tekken. That's one of the pillars of why we do Channel 5, why we do the Iron Lord podcast. So if you really want to know how our OG status is, it's because of this.
King brought it out. Absolutely. And of course, Lord Cognito here, spreading that gaming realness on the ILP, telling you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Again, thanks to Lord Eric Jacobus for coming through. Absolute pleasure to have this guy on. And like I said, please hit that like and subscribe to ILP on all the Inner Circle Network media outlets, including YouTube, iTunes, Google Play. Of course, the amazing TickGN Patreon is up. It's been revised. The link is in the description. Please check that out. All the support really helps the Lord, and it's much, much appreciated. Thanks again, Lord Eric Jacobus. And on that note, we're going to end the show. Peace.
Okay. Thank you all.